Let's begin. Thanks everyone again for joining in. My name is Mridul Bansal. I work as a product marketing manager here at PriceLabs. My job is to ensure whenever we are working on new features, new products, make sure that we let you know about this so that your experience with PriceLabs keep on getting better and better. Today I'm joined by my colleague Nick. Nick, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Nick and I work at PriceLabs as one of the product specialists. So we are the team who help you if you have any issues or any questions, you get in touch with support. We are the team that answers you.
Amazing. Great. Thanks, Nick. All right. So great to see everyone here. All right. I'm still seeing messages from people. Amazing to see people joining us from different parts of the world. All right. So quick housekeeping. The webinar is getting recorded. We will email you the recording in the next 48 hours or so. Uh, uh, we also have a Q&A section. So right now you are using chat to tell us hi. You will also see a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, probably. You can just click on that, ask us any questions that you have throughout the session. You don't have to just wait for the end, but any questions that you have, please keep sending them in the Q&A section. We are joined by Sanjay and Arshdeep, who will be helping us out answering your questions on the chat as the session keeps on going, right? So please do share your questions there. All right, to begin with, a little bit context on what we are doing today. So this is going to be a relatively shorter webinar. We'll be here for around 45 minutes or so, and we will be talking about Easter, right? So Easter is coming. Some of you must be wondering if your prices are right for Easter, if your prices have been taken care of by PriceLabs. How does PriceLabs prices work for events like Easter and other holidays in your region? So today we'll talk about how all of that has been done by PriceLabs, how PriceLabs has already taken care of your prices and will continue to do that in the coming days as well, right? So how your pricing for Easter has already been taken care of, how it will keep on improving as the date comes closer, right? We'll also talk about how you can compare your prices to the market to actually see how you and the market is doing, right? So Price Labs is not a black box, right? It's not that, okay, the system has recommended you a price and you are just going ahead with it blindly, right? We help you understand why our algorithm has taken a decision, why it matters to your market and to your property, right? So today we'll understand how your prices compare to the market, why your prices are the way they are, right? So that's what we'll do with prices. Then we'll jump to second part of the session, which will be minimum stay rules. Right. So we'll talk about what else you can do. So since PriceLabs is taking care of prices, you can check it in the market. Now, what can you do to make the most out of Easter is using custom minimum stay rules, right? So Nick will walk us through some strategies, some stuff that you can do with your minimum stay rules, length of stay rules, so that you ensure that you get the most out of each booking, right? So for revenue, for profitability, price is one pillar, right? It's of course about getting bookings at the best price possible, but it's also about, in many cases at least, about getting the best booking possible or the longest booking possible, right? So you reduce cost on your turnovers, cleaning fee, check-in, check-out, any admin related work, and you make most from each and every booking, right? So that's what we will be doing. I will go ahead and bring my screen up. We'll keep on shifting between a presentation that we have for you and the product. Again, as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to keep sending them in the Q&A section. It's better if you send it in Q&A instead of chat, because that helps us keep a track of it. That helps us understand if we have answered a question or not. If we haven't, it helps us get back to you later after the session as well. So please keep sending them in the chat, in the Q&A. I apologize. And let me bring my screen up. Oh, 1 second. I know you're seeing a black box. I will take care of it in a second. And it's gone. All right, let me go in the present mode. So Easter 2025, again, as I said, we'll look over some booking strategies. Before we jump into a quick plug, we conduct trainings, live trainings for someone who's getting started with PriceLabs especially. We conduct basic training and advanced trainings. So if you're new to PriceLabs, if you're just setting up your account, we highly recommend that you join these trainings. These are live trainings where we answer your questions live and walk you through how you can set up your account in the best way possible. Sanjay from our team has just shared the link in the chat. You can go to our website, explore the trainings, register for the ones that suit you, right? Another part of it is also something called PriceLabs Academy. Is academy that we have launched quite recently. This is not live. This is a self-paced. Uh, these are self-paced courses where, basis your, I would say, journey, you can choose and go over any of the courses that are most relevant to you, right? So there are courses where when you're new to PriceLabs and you need help on getting started. There are courses when you want to optimize your setup, just see if things are working for you or not, and many other such courses, right? So you can just go and explore this. You can access trainings from directly from your account. If you click on the setting, the profile icon of your account on the top right, you will see the trainings bar here. You just click on it and you will see a screen something like this, right? So again, just attend our live training or courses. We have curated it with keeping in mind to make sure that you get the best out of PriceLabs. Um, all right. So coming back to today's webinar. Uh, so few things that we will be covering is, why are we talking about Easter? Why does it matter, right? So why is Easter maybe different this year? How you can trust PriceLabs for your prices, but you can stay aware. So you can be aware of why these prices are the way they are, what's happening in the market, how are you doing in the market. Then we'll shift to minimum stay rules. We'll see how you can maximize booked nights to get the most out of every booking. Uh, We'll also see how you can monitor and see other local events which are either around Easter or in future as well, right? So how in PriceLabs you can monitor local events and see how PriceLabs is working for those for you. And at the end, we'll see what are some of the things you can do right away so that you can secure high value booking even before March ends, right? So that your Easter strategy is already sorted before March ends and you already have these high value bookings, which are good in price, good in length of stays as well. All right, let me jump in. Cool. So why are we talking about Easter? Now, Easter, there is a date shift, right? So you would have noticed now, last year Easter was on 31st March in 2024. This year it's on April 20th. What this means, there's a quarter change, right? So if you are someone who maybe works on quarterly revenue projection or something in your business, I don't. If you do that, then it changes your projections for the quarter, right? So it's in Q1 and Q2, so that differs now. Few other things is, let's say, warm weather. So since it's in April now, the weather is relatively warmer. Again, depends heavily on which market you are in, which part of the world, which geography you are in. But relatively, usually there's maybe warmer weather. So the demand for beach or outdoor destinations is relatively more. Your property can vary depending on where it is. So let's say urban rentals will have a different booking pace and patterns than family homes. Because for Easter, for example, let's say family bookings are maybe more, family bookings are usually in advance. So all of that will matter depending on the type of property that you have. Another one is different holidays. For example, again, as I said, depending on the part of the world that you are in, Easter Monday is a holiday in France and Spain and Italy, for instance. However, Good Friday is a major holiday in UK and Germany, right? So it depends on which geography you are in. Either there's a Monday, which is the holiday, or Friday is the holiday. So the strategies would have to be different, right? The pricing would have to be different. Uh, so that's on the date shift. Now, again, few other things that coincide these are, let's say, spring breaks, right? So for example, in US, in some regions, college and university spring breaks in 2025 fall within these range, right? So for example, early March, you have 1 to 5 months, but early March, mid March, late March, some of these coincide with Easter break. In Europe, again, varying. For example, France, Easter for weekend falls within school holidays for all zones. It did not in 2024, right? So in 2024, Easter was separate than, let's say, school holidays. In 2025, it is falling on similar dates, right? However, in Germany and Spain, it remains the same. It was coinciding with spring breaks in 2024 as well, and now it's doing again in 2025, right? So I did too much information maybe, but it's just that Easter is on a different date this time. Depending on your region, it may coincide and coincide with different holidays, different days of the week, holidays, different school patterns in other regions, right? That's just for information for now. You don't have to take any action on it, just to understand what's happening in your market around you, right? Now, let's talk about prices, right? Okay, so you'll be like, oh, I mean, that's happening. Okay, good to know, but how does it impact, right? How does it matter? So for prices, PriceLabs is already adjusting your rates. So you come to PriceLabs, you already have your setup ready. Now you can trust PriceLabs for all of these prices, right? So PriceLabs is recommending your prices for considering Easter and considering all of these demand shift that we talked about right now, right? So right now, let's say when there's peak demand opportunity, especially let's say when there's a lot of lead time or booking window between now and Easter, PriceLabs will optimize your rates. PriceLabs will probably give you the best rates possible, uh, or the most optimized rate, if I may. And it will continue doing that dynamically based on how demand changes, based on your past bookings, based on how your property is performing and how the demand is changing. Considering all of that, PriceLabs will every day keep on changing your rates in the future for your calendar, right? So keep on optimizing the best rate possible, perhaps not change it every night, but ensure that your rates are optimized and updated or fresh compared to the market, right? So PriceLabs will keep on doing. What happens on last booking, right? Okay, so it's good, everything is sounds good right now. You have a lot of time to get bookings. What happens if you're maybe unbooked even before a couple of days before Easter? I hope that doesn't happen. uh, Even if that happens, you don't have to panic or worry about, right? You don't have to maybe slash your prices or do anything of such sort. PriceLabs will still optimize it and apply something we call it as last minute adjustment, last minute discount, and do again, not just bluntly, but ensuring and considering market demand. PriceLabs will do that last minute adjustment as well, right? So starting from, let's say today, if you pick today to Easter, PriceLabs will do it and keep on adjusting and changing your rate comparing to how market work is working, how demand is working, how other holidays are coinciding in your market to around Easter, and how you are doing. Okay. Now, what you can do though with prices. Let's say even if some dates remain open in early April, maybe, right? Maybe by it's 10th of April already, you feel that maybe your peak dates are booked, but not around the weekend, right? Maybe you feel that there's potential. Either you can make slight adjustments to your prices using something we call a state specific override. Nick will walk us through on that more in detail. Either you can make very slight adjustments. Again, that is highly recommended to only do when you are very sure of what you are doing here. You're very sure of this is what your usual rates are and this is what you should be doing. If you feel that, you can make these slight adjustments to PriceLabs prices. Or you can also add other perks, like for example, free early check-in, right? Maybe a gift for guests when they arrive, maybe a bottle of wine when guests arrive at the property. Something which is maybe added on as a benefit, as a perk, which maybe other properties, other competitors in your area are not doing. Okay. Just to sum up, PriceLabs is already taking care of these prices for you, but it will keep doing it from today or even before that, from today to Easter, depending on how much lead time you have. Is it a far out booking? Is it a last minute booking? How the market is moving? Is the demand increasing, decreasing? Considering all of that, PriceLabs will take care of it. If you find any tweaks that you think are very necessary for you to do, you can just do that using custom overrides. We will talk about that in a bit, or you can try to offer some other benefits as well, like free early check-in, as I just said. All right. Uh, Now, how you can understand the market, right? So how you can then understand what's happening and why your rates are the way they are. To do that, you can head over to something which is called as neighborhood data tab in PriceLabs, right? So you can check your future rates to the market, your Easter rates to the market, your occupancy to the market, right? So you know if it's just you or is it the entire market, right? It happens with some of us, it happens with me at least sometimes, where my property is unbooked and I don't know if my prices are high, if there's a problem with my listing on any OTA. What exactly is the problem, right? Neighborhood data answers that question. It tells me if it is just me or the entire market that is behaving this way, right? So let's jump into the platform and we'll see it there. Uh, all right. And again, I think there are some questions already in this chat. Please keep sharing questions here. We are more than happy to answer them as we go. Just to reiterate, the webinar is getting recorded. We will share the recording with you in the next 48 hours or so, latest by Monday. All right, so let's take an example of maybe this property. So this is a property that I have, a test property here. And let's look at the prices that PriceLabs is doing here and how it compares to the market, right? So you see these are my base price of 246 US dollars, and this is how my prices vary, right? So If you've been using PriceLabs for a little bit, you know this is where your future prices look like. This is your pricing calendar. You can also see the rates for Easter. So for example, here, let's say, wow, so Easter here is actually coinciding with another tournament, another local event called RBC tournament. So let's say if I go here, it's actually Easter plus RBC, which is pretty good stuff for me, pretty good time for me to be in the market, right? So here you see PriceLabs has increased my rate. So it's actually more than double. Now I want to highlight something here. It's more than double here, but it doesn't have to be the case always, right? It's not always, of course, you can, see the optimized rate, expect optimized rate, but it doesn't always the case where your rates will maybe, jump by 2x or 3x. It really depends on your market. It really depends on your property, on the demand in your market, on the seasons in your market, on the events and holidays in your market, right? So comparing yourself with any other property in the world might not make most sense. You will have to compare yourself with the market that you are in, right? And to do that, you can go to neighborhood data. So you are into your listing calendar. Just on right hand side of this, you will see a neighborhood data tab. This is where you can come and you can see how you are doing with the market. So this is the future prices chart in neighborhood data tab, right? Couple of lines here, couple of elements here. Let me walk you through this. So the black line that you see, it's basically your rates in the future, right? So the rates that you see in your pricing calendar, all of those rates put after the one other will create this graph, right? So all of your rates in the future will create this graph, and the black line is what that is, right? Now the other area, so there's a gray bar area at the bottom, then there's red, and then there's pink. These indicate the percentile markers of the market. What that means is the gray is, let's say, the affordable section of the market, right? So the properties which usually work in the affordable section of the market, which is usually priced at the lower end of the market, are gray. And the red one is in a way, the average properties in the market who are priced on roughly an average rate in the market. And the pink at the top is higher end of the market, like a little bit more luxurious end of the market. So this is how rates of the properties are varying in your market, right? So let's say you can see there are ups and downs here. So for example, here there are ups and downs and ups and downs and more, right? Now let's see this up, right? So here, this is Easter, right? Now you see there's a jump in price. But if you didn't have this market knowledge, then you would only see the jump in your price, right? So for example, let's assume you were seeing this like this, which means you were already seeing your rates. Now, it looks little odd, right? Okay, there's a jump here. Okay, I see there's Easter, but should it be this much? Are other properties priced at this much? So it doesn't really make sense if you look at just your prices. But as soon as you start adding the market to it, it all starts making sense, and it tells you why your prices are the way that they are. Just give me a second. All right, back at it. So now here, this is where you see why your prices make sense. There's a jump here because the entire market, there's a jump. There's a peak for the entire market here, right? So this is, and again, we show events here as well, where you can see that this is Easter already. PriceLabs has already identified that it is Easter for this weekend and increased your prices. And it's there in the future as well. We also have something called AI Insights here. AI Insights, what it does, it converts this chart, the chart that we just saw, into very easy, simple sentences, right? So it's easy to understand, it's quicker. I personally love AI Insights because, and it's difficult to make sense of graphs sometimes. So what AI Insights does is it quickly converts this into a text summary. I can quickly come here and check. So for example, 27th December to 31st December, market prices are 46% higher compared to surrounding dates. You can also see the Easter impact here, where let's say April 17th to 20th, which is our Easter, market prices are 26.9% higher, right? So now you know why your rate is higher, because market prices are high and they're higher by 26.9%. So this gives the answer of how PriceLabs is not a black box, how you can at any point see why your rates are the way they are, right? It doesn't mean you have to change your rates anyway. If you want, you can. But the idea is just for you to see why they are the way they are. Similar for occupancy, you can see how your and market occupancy is comparing, right? So as I said, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm not getting bookings, if is it just me, or is it, maybe the entire market. So here you will not see occupancy for my property because there's a test account. But here in your account, you will see that this red line is there, which is the market occupancy. And in uh, with respect to this, you will also see your own occupancy, right? So for example, for Easter, you will see that market occupancy is already 74.4% here. And if your occupancy is maybe 10%, then maybe you can see if you need to do something, right? Again, in most of the cases, we would recommend you to not do anything at all. We tell you that PriceLabs is doing for you. PriceLabs is understanding that your occupancy is low, market is high, the demand is low, the demand is high. PriceLabs is doing it for you. But what you can do here perhaps is maybe play around with minimum stay, right? So PriceUp is doing prices for you, but what you can do is play around with the length of stay, minimum stay rules that you have for it, which can eventually probably lead to getting more bookings, right? So that's one thing that you can do. Uh, Before I hand it over to Nick to help us more understand about length of stay, you can also look at these future prices for Easter and future price and length of stays for Easter for any specific competitor. So here, for example, let's say I've added these four competitors because I know this is what I compete with. You can add and remove, you can choose any competitor that you want. We give you suggestions, we give you the competitors that you have here. Otherwise, you can click on manage competitors and you can just put them here. If you are someone who likes to do this analysis of going to other properties on Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, understanding, analyzing them, we make it easy for you to just do it here, right? So just add their Airbnb ID, Airbnb URL, and you will see that competitor here. You will see their future prices and length of future price and length of stays rules for every date in the future, right? So for example, let's say when it comes to Easter. So for example, this is the Easter weekend. You can see that here my price is 544. Price for this competitor is 156. Their minimum length is 3. Their minimum length is 4, 2, 2, and their price, right? So for any other competitor that you really want to understand more about, you can just put them here and know about them through their Airbnb list. All right. Good. So that was a little bit on the understanding market, understanding your prices, how Easter is happening this time. I'll hand over to Nick to now walk us through. So this was more on understanding what can happening and what is happening. Now Nick will walk us through on some of the practical tips that you can, some practical strategies and tips that you can do. Yeah, Nick, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Myrtle. I'm just going to share my screen now. All right. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about minimum stay restrictions. Minimum stay restrictions are crucial to revenue management, and they can bring in more money if you kind of play your cards right. And PriceLabs can help with that as well. So PriceLabs does have this function called Help Me Choose a Minimum Stays. That can help you determine sort of general rules for your own listing. It will take into account what lengths of stay are happening in your market, but also into it will take into your account. It will take into account your own performance to kind of give you a better recommendation as to which kind of minimum stay you can choose. I'm going to switch quickly to the product. So when you are in your pricing calendar, you can find the minimum stay restrictions recommendation engine by clicking on Edit on next to Applied Customizations. And then we've got this button here called Help Me Choose Minimum Stays. So when I click that, gives me two options. Do I prefer short or mid-term rentals? If you hover over the eye, it will tell you what that means. So short-term here means less than 14 days, probably most people's preference. So I'm going to go with that. And what it will do is it will generate this recommendation for default minimum stays, but also for orphan gaps, last minute, and far out bookings. When you click on this, how do we recommend these settings? This will give you a bit of a sort of in a nutshell, how did we come up with these recommendations? So this will give you a better insight into what to set up as a general rule. But because we are talking about a very specific holiday, Easter, you might want to consider going with higher minimum stay restrictions. The whole holiday, sorry, I'm just jumping back and forth. The whole holiday really takes less than a week. Kind of can start when it comes to bookings around the 16th, 17th. People are starting to travel, and then it's kind of over by Tuesday after Easter, Monday. So you might want to kind of adjust your minimum stays to something a little bit higher to help you secure a longer booking. Longer bookings are, of course, lower costs, like Middle mentioned, lower cleaning costs, lower maintenance cost, etc. And it gives you a peace of mind as well that you are fully booked, money's coming in, revenue's coming in. So what you can do is kind of go along with how long the holiday is. So a good idea might be to go with a 3 to 5 night minimum stay. And then when the Easter sort of moves over closer to today's date, and in case you are still not booked, you might want to go with lower minimum stays, or even to attract bookings maybe just before Easter or just after Easter if someone booked your actual Easter time beforehand. The easiest way to do it is using a date-specific override. Because Easter is a kind of a moving holiday, it's a different date year on year. Date-specific overrides allow you to put it on specific dates, as the name suggests, of course. So let me show you how to do that. When looking at your calendar in PriceLabs, all you have to do is click on the date, or you can click and drag over the calendar. When you release, this little dialog window will pop up. You can adjust the start and end dates. Here you can set your minimum stays to a different number. So let's say I'm going to go with 5 for the whole stay. And that's it, really. All I have to do now is click on add. What you can also do here is adjust your prices ever so slightly. Like Middle said, PriceLabs prices are going to be good enough for most users, but if you feel that you might get a bit more, or if you feel that maybe PriceLabs prices are a bit too high and you want to reduce them, this is where you can do it. So you can either set a final fixed price, or you can set it as a percentage change on recommended price. So this will take the PriceLabs price and adjust it with whatever you type in here. So if I type 20, that will add a 20% premium. If I type in -20, that will add a 20% discount. So you can kind of play around with this depending on your own listing. What you can also do is you can set a minimum and a maximum price for these dates only. So if you feel that, I want to go with PriceLabs prices, I'm going to leave this open, but I do have a minimum that I want for a specific date. I can set this as a fixed amount, also as a percentage change on your minimum price, the one that you've set for your listing, or as a percentage change on your base price. So you can combine these two sort of in one override and just do it in one go. So if I want to go with a 5-night minimum stay for the whole stay, I can do that. I just click on add. We have this bar that shows crossing the dates in my calendar. After adding a date-specific override, I always recommend to click on save and refresh. That will make sure that your calendar is up to date with all the rules that you've specified. Now, one thing with this approach is that it's going to be a 5-night minimum regardless. So if someone books maybe a day, no, that would not work. No, if you are trying to go with a higher minimum stay for Easter, but you are afraid that you're not going to get booked, and it's time is running out because the holiday is at a specific date, and you want to reduce the minimum stays automatically, what you can do is set an expiration date for a date specific override. So to do that, you would scroll to the bottom of the DSO dialog, and you've got this advanced override settings. Now here, the last option is called set override expiry. And then whatever amount of days you put in here, this date specific override will start expiring day to day when the dates are these days out. not the easiest to kind of explain it in words, but let me give you an example. So Easter, I believe it's 41 days now. So let's try it with 41 days to give you an example on that. So there we go. So this would be on the 41st day. And when that day comes, this DSO or part of it will be disabled. Next day, another part of it will be disabled, etc. So once the date-specific override is getting disabled, what will be applied is your minimum stay restrictions. So I don't have last-minute minimum stays here, but I can set them up very quickly. So let's just go with 1 and 1 within 14 days. So now when the dates are moving closer to today, if I have a date specific override, my last minute rules would not be applied. But if I set up this expiry for the DSO to, let's say, the exact same date, 14 days out, if I am still not booked, when it's 14 days till, say, the 16th, what will be applied is my last minute rules. So this will reduce my minimum stay restrictions. So if I'm still not booked, I give myself a better chance to catch any bookings. A bit smaller, but still a booking. I think that is that when it comes to DSOs. These rules that we are rules kind of good practices that we're explaining, these can be also applied to different events. So it's not just Easter, but it could be any kind of event happening in your market. It could be a concert, it could be some sort of horse race, car race, whatever it might be. So it is crucial that you identify overlapping events to tap into the demand. So it could be overlapping with Easter, but it could be something else as well. For example, concerts like Coachella, business conferences, and local events. Religious festivals in Europe, Latin America, or major sporting events, like I said, marathons, races, etc. You can track events in PriceLabs. We do a very good job at it. What you can find, again, in neighborhood data that Middle was showing before, when you look at your future prices, when you look at the bottom of the or sort of the x-axis, you will see these kind of purple bars, and they're also kind of mentioned here as events holidays. So if you hover over a specific date, you will also see that in this little tooltip showing up. So you will see where these events occur, and also most probably you will see how prices are reacting. So for example, here we've got the Primavera concert. PriceLabs is reacting with prices, but what you can do is come in and react with some minimum stay restrictions. So you can go in and create a date-specific override for these dates with higher minimum stays and kind of follow a similar strategy. Set a longer stay, maybe set an expiry date on it so that your lower last-minute minimum stays will kick in when the time comes. Secure high value bookings before March ends. So Easter is coming quickly. We are in the beginning of March, but guests are booking now. People are planning their stays, planning their holidays. So you want to make the most of that to try and capitalize on that as much as possible. So sort of some more very good practices is, be available now. Travelers are booking for Easter. You want to make sure that you are set up right now because these bookings will most likely start kind of declining before April starts. Avoid over discounting last minute prices. PriceLabs does a very good job of discounting your rates for last minute. So you don't have to care about that too much. Well, you don't have to sort of look after that too much. PriceLabs will do most of the legwork for you, but you can help yourself with minimum stays, minimum stay restrictions to maintain a high revenue. So try and have a longer min stay requirement for dates that are far out, or specifically Easter. It's still far out, around 40 few days, 43 days out, but make sure that these go lower as time goes by. So if you don't get booked, lower min stays kick in, giving you a better chance of getting booked, and of course, maintaining your revenue. Encourage longer stays. So I think everyone is sensitive to a promotion. Every time you see, oh, let me give you a discount, everyone's eyes light up. So giving offering perks like a 10% discount of full week bookings might be a good incentive to not only get the guests to look at your listing, consider it, but also to stay for longer. So if you say, someone was planning to stay just for 5 days, but if you give them a discount of 10, 15, 20% for a week stay, it might be that they think, okay, well, this is fantastic. And first of all, I'm being treated really nicely, promotion, and I'm saving money by staying a little bit longer. So that might be a great way to kind of just a little bit up your bottom line and again, increase revenue, which is of course what PriceLabs does. A few final takeaways. Optimize now. Like I said, time is kind of crucial when it comes to these events. They come and go. You want to be ready for when guests are ready to book and make sure that you are set up in the best way to help you maximize your revenue and occupancy. PriceLabs dynamically adjust pricing, trust the algorithm to optimize based on demand. So yeah, PriceLabs does a fantastic job of pricing based on changes in your market, events. We take a lot of things into consideration. Use date-specific overrides to lock in longer bookings before Easter and shorter stays after. So like I explained, you can use date-specific overrides with an expiry set on them so that your minimum stay rules, your last minute minimum stay rules kick in when the time comes. You can use your neighborhood data tab to track competitors and the market. You can see how your pricing compares, where there are spikes, where there are events, and then adjust your strategy accordingly. One other thing, because I was talking about different events in your market, just wanted to point everyone to the events holidays calendar that we have. So PriceLabs maintains a fantastic list of different events, holidays happening in different markets. If you wanted to see the whole list, you can do so by going to this events holidays and clicking on this little eye icon. This will show you all the events that are happening in your market and also show you an average price as it is right now with your current setup for these holidays. So if you maybe are not aware of some things, for me, let's say Barcelona F1, I didn't know that was happening, but there we go. It is happening and I see the dates here. I'm immediately more informed. I can go back into my neighborhood data, check, how the prices are, how do they compare to the market, and then again, go back to my minimum stay restrictions in my calendar and see if there's anything that I can kind of work on to help maximize my revenue by requiring a longer stay for the key dates and maybe a shorter stay on before and after, and also help myself by adding some promotions. Weekly weekly and monthly stays are possible to adjust in PriceLabs for some PMS or channel managers, but you most probably would be able to do that on your OTA, so on Airbnb, VRBO. So that should not be a problem to set that up. Push for early bookings before mid-March through special offers. So yeah, again, you can use marketing tools that Airbnb, VRBO, booking offers to kind of get yourself up in search results. Having a promotion always helps the search algorithms on those platforms to get you higher up. So see what's available for your OTAs and then make a decision whether you want to set a promotion. Okay, I think that is it for me. I think we are down to the Q&A section.
Thanks, Nick. I think since you have your screen open, I can see a couple of questions which may. So Lynn has asked, how do you set perks with expiry dates? Do you want to maybe show us quickly again how to set expiry on DSO? Just a couple of seconds.
Oh, of course. So let me just remove that and start from a blank slate. So let's say I am looking at Easter and I want to increase my minimum stay restrictions for these days. So I would click and drag over my calendar. When I release, we have this date-specific overrides window open. I can adjust the dates from the date picker up top. I can adjust the price here. I can adjust the minimum stay restrictions here. And then if I scroll a little bit lower, I've got this advanced override settings here. When I click that and scroll even lower, we've got this set override expiry. Disable within X days of the stay date. So this means counting from today, how many days out do I start canceling whatever I set in the DSO? So if I type in 14, that means that 14 days from now on, if my DSO has this expiry set on it, 14 days from today, it will start getting well, switched off basically. So whatever minimum stays you've set or whatever pricing you've set, that will start getting disabled bit by bit.
Great, thanks, Nick. Another question I see, Nick, from Jesus is, my upcoming occupancy is well below market, and starting in mid-May of the year, the prices listed for the unit will become above 75th to 90th percentile. So the occupancy is below the market, prices are above 75th to 90th percentile. What could be driving those insane prices and throwing me out of price ranges for most potential guests?
Mm.
So what should we do in this case, Nick? Would you recommend base price help tool or?
Well, there are a few things that could be causing what it is, what's pushing your prices up. So the best way to, of course, determine are these prices actually high for my market or not is by going to neighborhood data, and it sees that Jesus actually has done that because he's determined that it's between the 75th and then 90th percentile. So well done with that. What you can do to find out where that price is coming from is you can go into your calendar and then let's say you said mid-May. So let's say I'm going to look at the 16th. When I hover over the rate for that specific day, I will see how that price was generated in this little tooltip. So in PriceLabs, your price calculations start from your base price, then we add seasonality, demand, customizations, and check for thresholds if it doesn't go above and below. So the key to this would most probably be the two market factors. If your prices are going very high, it's most probably one of them pushing it up, either seasonality or demand. It could be that you have some customizations as well. But if you don't, then it's probably one of these two factors. Now, if you are a little bit afraid that they're not getting booked, to stay a bit more informed, what you can do is go into neighborhood data, and we have this section called market history. In market history, you can click on market booking window, and that will show you what the average booking window is for any month in your market. So booking window is the period of time before someone makes a booking and before they check in. So between booking, reserving your place, and then actually checking in. So you can see if prices for May are very high and you're afraid that you're not getting booked just yet, you can go in here and say, okay, well, in 2014, the average booking window was 18. So I can expect bookings coming in around 18 days. However, year on year, there seems to be a drop. So maybe the trend is also following, but this will keep you informed as to historical data on the booking window.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for answering that. And I see a suggestion from India, which is or a too high base price. And I think I kind of agree that if your rates are overall as you indicated as well, perhaps you can check your base price again. So yes, that is good. Cool. So we are on time. There are still a couple of questions. So Nick and I will be here. Nick, is it all right if we stay for maybe 2 to 3 more minutes? Just answer a couple
Yeah.
of questions quickly. All right. So if you have to drop off, we understand. Please feel free. We will be here for a couple of more minutes to answer any questions that you folks have for us. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking out the time. Do attend our trainings if you have not already. At the bottom right of your account, you will see an icon, question icon, where you can click and reach out to us via email or chat. We are available to respond to you 24 hours. If you need any other assistance, please feel free to write an email. We also have a knowledge base where there are articles and videos about almost everything that PriceLabs caters to. So all the features of the tool, everything that is there in the tool, we have created articles and videos and guides to guide you through that. So please feel free to check that out. You can find all of that at the question mark, which you see on the next screen right now with 50 number. You can find that on the question mark here, and you can check that out. That's all. We will be here for a couple of minutes to answer these questions, and we will send you the recording by in the next 48 hours or so. Great. Thank you for your kind words. Great to hear, Lauren. Lauren, thank you so much for your kind words. We are always here to make your experience better with PriceLabs. And all right, cool. Nick, we'll just quickly take a couple of questions.
Let's go.
Yeah, all right. If I have a date specific override, if I have a date specific override on lowering a price, am I prohibiting PriceLabs process from doing price reductions?
Not exactly. It depends how you set up the override. So there's two kind of ways. You can set it as a fixed amount or you can set it up as a percentage change. So let's do just that. So if I set a fixed amount, so let's say I'm going to go with 500, I'm going to click on add and refresh so that my calendar refreshes immediately. Then what we will see here is that my prices are 500 exactly, and they will stay exactly like that. The calculation is still visible to you, but because of the override, they will stay at 500 no matter what. Even if they go below your minimum or above your maximum, what you've set in here will be that. But if I go and do a percentage change on recommended price, I can add, let's say, 40% on top of my prices. This will be reactive because this will always look first at the price that PriceLabs generated. So I'm going to do that again, and let's see how prices change. So now I can see that it just says 40% change on recommended price. Perfect. Now, if I hover over the rate for that specific day, I see the whole calculation. So again, base price, market factors, and in the customization section, I see that it's adding the 40%. So that 40% is part of the whole calculation. So there's a reactive way of doing it by the percentage change, and there's the sort of fixed way of doing it that will not react to what PriceLabs is recommending.
Got it. Thanks, Nick, for answering that. All right. I think that's pretty much it for today. Uh, just to sum up, please, in PriceLabs, the best customization is to not use any customization. PriceLabs takes care of all of these pricing for you. Just ensure your basic setup like base price, minimum price, length of stays are ready. Rest everything you can leave onto PriceLabs. PriceLabs will take care of it for you. You don't have to do any customizations. I saw there was a question regarding occupancy-based adjustments and other stuff, or lowering your price. You do not have to worry about any of those. PriceLabs will do it for you. If you want, you can maybe do a date-specific override that Nick just showed to maybe lower price by a little bit here and there. You can keep on rechecking your base price every once a while if you want, but nothing major that you should be doing in your account is what we recommend. For Easter specifically, we recommend you maybe set up some date-specific override for minimum stays to ensure that you get the best bookings possible. And Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you again for joining in. Claudia, how do we sign up for more classes? So these webinars, Claudia, are usually once a month or so. We ensure that we email you just how we did this time, so we will do that. For others, our team has already shared a training link where you can find some basic trainings that we conduct almost every day. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Again, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Nick, for doing this with me. Thank you, Sanjay and Arshdeep, for your support on questions. If you still have any questions which we are not able to answer today, please feel free to write to us at support@pricelabs.co. We will be more than happy to help you with it and get back to you. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mridul.